Hey, what's going on? So I want to explain the structure and break everything down again. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, this is for the people who are using indicators. Okay, it's okay to use them. This is a VWAP, but it's okay to use them. You just have to understand the structure. Just really know that the structure is king because the indicators you can see the same thing line up perfectly. The same buy sell signal or the crossovers, and then it fail and you're scratching your head, but you have to look at the structure. So let's just take a look at this again. Okay, so this is the way it works. So when this high right here was taken, the structure is still bullish. Do you understand that? Let me hold on. Hold on. Oh God. Let me see if I can expand the screen. I need to go full screen, but it's blocking this clip champ thing. Is blocking my Jesus. Oh, there we go. It's a little better. So basically, when this high right here was taken, right here, the structure is still bearish unless it can close below here on a 2 hour chart. You could be any time frame, but you want to go on a higher time frame. Do you understand that? So what I'm saying is price could do all like this. Let me make this a different color. You really have to understand this or you're gonna get faked out. I understand people like watching the clips, but this is the real shit here. So what I'm saying is price can do all like this. It can go down here. It could do all like this. Look like it's bearish and do all of this. You can even come down here and wick below. But unless it can close below this candle right here on the 2 hour chart, the structure is still bullish. Okay. You really have to understand that because you'll get faked out. So let's continue to look at the structure. So if you got the indicators on, you need to understand this here. Or you really, because see, if you're looking for shorts, but the structure is already broken. Like if you're looking for shorts, let me explain something here. What I'm saying is if price has officially broken structure up, which I'm going to explain, a lot of times, let's say this is a structure right here. A lot of times price will break structure. Let's say it broke structure here. This line here. Let me try to make it a different color. So let's say price was streaming down and then it came up and closed above this high. This is what you got to understand. A lot of times the price will still be on a bearish trend micro structure. You have to understand micro and minor structure. And it's only doing that to explode up. It's going to be a huge explosion. It's like a slingshot. The more it retraces down, so then you have to. So let's say this is the 2 hour where we're on right now. If you see structure is broken up, but you see prices going down, you need to be on the 15-minute, 5-minute, looking for something like this for price to close above this high. Because when price took this low right here, it has to prove it can close above this high, which it did here. And this is the 2 hour chart, the yellow, but the 15-minute or the 5-minute or the 15-minute mate is this turquoise here. Let me actually make this a different color. What's going on with this mouse? This is key right here. I mean, I know people don't want to watch the long videos; they want to watch shorts and stuff. But I mean, what's going on with this mouse, man? What the hell? I mean, unless you understand this, you're gonna be lost in the sauce. So let me make this a different color here. Maybe the battery dying on this thing. All right, so this makes sense. Make sure you rewind this part right here. Make sure you rewind this part right here. What I'm saying is, The yellow, let's just say it's a 2 hour chart. So it's going down, then it came up to break structure. The turquoise line is to break a structure. But what I'm trying to tell you is that just because it broke structure and then it started going down, you're like, oh man, I was wrong. I looked at the structure wrong. No, you look at the structure right. A lot of times it's going to retrace down because of this big push right here. Jesus Christ, what's going on with this mouse? Let me turn it off. Okay, so this push right here is retracing this push right here. So that's what I'm saying. The yellow is the 2 hour, turquoise is the break of structure, and then the pink is maybe the 15-minute chart. You have to be on there, lower time frame, looking for a break of structure up. It actually really happened right here, because when this low was taken here, price closed above it on the 15-minute chart. Part was official break of minor structure. This is major structure right here. This is what you got to understand. This is major structure, the yellow. Minor structure, bearish movement. Then it closes above. Now we up to the races. And let's say this is a area structure right here. If I have the yellow, let's say this is probably like a bearish order block here. Let me change the color back to yellow. This is probably a bearish order block or something up here. So then when you break that minor structure, you literally can hold that buy all the way up to that bearish breaker or that bear. If you even more bold, you can hold up to a bearish order block, because sometimes the breaker or the mitigation block is going to be before it. So that's what I'm about to explain here. Sometimes you got to understand this. You got to understand what I'm showing you right now, or you're going to be faked out. And it's nothing wrong with using the indicators. I don't believe, but if you don't understand the structure and you just going off of the indicator buy and sell signals, like, you probably make some money like that. But I'm telling you, man, you got to understand this here. And so I have a few indicators that I'm going to turn on so we can see how to use the indicators with the structure. I don't see people out here talking about this. All they showing us indicators like buy and sell when this happens, and that's cool. But it's like sometimes it's going to give you the perfect signals, the perfect buy and sell that happened like 10 times in the past where you made money. You think you all that. And then you're going to bet it all just using the indicator because you don't want to think, quote unquote, you don't want to think. And then you're going to lose it all because the structure is king. I need to change my mouse real quick. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Congratulations and shout out to the people that actually watch the videos, the long videos, because that's what the value is, not watching the shorts. People be watching the shorts on this channel, and that's cool, but I'm like, where are the people who want to learn the structure? Because that's going to free you, man. And I want to show this to you on the 2 hour chart here. So let me fix my mouse real quick, and we'll get back to the sauce here. Okay. Make sure you guys check out the psychology videos that I have, the psychology section. That's really important as well. From a real one, somebody, put their life on the line for this trading stuff. Somebody who drew in the sand and said, this has to happen, period. Anyway, so let's get back to the structure, shall we? All right, so there we go. Now the mouse working like it's supposed to. All right, so let's get back to the structure. So let's zoom back in. And yeah, so like I said, the price is bullish right now. Okay. Price is bullish until it can prove it can close below this green line here. So let's continue to drag the candles to the right. So now this high was taken just now, right? You see that? So now all you got to do is just drag the line over, because now price is bullish until we can prove we can close below this next line. Unless price can prove it can close below here, you need to hold your long. You don't necessarily have to use an EMA and all that. It's just damn common sense. You can see, right? I mean, trade what you see, not what you think. Learn it from Jessica Lane. I think she just created her third millionaire student, doing her thing. So what I'm saying is, so price can come down here. Price can do all of this. It can come down all the way down here. It can wick all the way down here. But if it cannot close below this candle right here, you need to hold your long. Or if it came down and proved that it couldn't close, you need to be looking for, remember we got minor structure and major structure. Okay. So this is the minor structure here. Price is still bullish unless it can prove it could close below here on a 2-hour chart. And then you want to go to the 3-hour or the 4-hour and make sure it closed below that candle as well. And then that's for sure that it's bearish now. And then price is just going to retrace up into this bearish order block here and then go down. And then you have to look down and see where ICT would call a PD array. You know, where is that at? Okay. So let's continue to move in the structure. I'm going to go all the way to January 22nd because I'm doing some back testing or something. Now, some people don't believe in back testing. I keep hearing people say that, and it kind of makes sense, but I'm like, they keep saying, well, why would you back test? The structure back in 2 years ago is not what's going on today. Yeah, I understand that. You should live trade, which is forward testing and back test. I mean, people say they don't back test. That's wild to me, but I understand. But these are real profitable traders, so I can't say they're wrong. But anyway, so you see this right here. The structure is still bullish unless it can prove it can close below here. Okay, boom. So now, this don't necessarily mean we're in a reversal, because you have something called a market structure shift, and then you have a breaker structure. Okay, so we have something called an MSS, which is a market structure shift, and then we have breaker structure BOS. Based on my understanding, the BOS is stronger than a market structure shift. Okay, this right here could just be a market structure shift, meaning it's probably still bullish on a higher time frame, which we're not going to go to. But right now, it's just on a market structure shift to go down to a certain area, only to return to go back higher. See, this is what I'm saying. People need to watch the videos. This most likely is probably just a market structure shift, but in a way, it is a breaker structure in a way. Okay, so we see it came down here to this bullish order block. Okay, this is lowest down closed candle, but not just because lowest down closed candle. It took out a high and it created a gap. I'm going to repeat that. See, people keep saying bullish order block, bearish order block. It's not just the last down closed candle. It's not just the highest up closed candle. It's the last down closed candle. It took out a high in one candle and it created a gap. That's straight from the book of ICT. So it came down here into this bullish order block, filled in this gap here, this demand gap, 3 candles in a row. But ICT don't believe in supply and demand, so we'll call it a fair value gap. Now, you also need to understand ICT's teachings when you talk about a proplosion block. This has really helped me on some of these trades, man. Like this last down close candle, you have to mark up the whole range and see if price can close below. If price can't close below 50% of this range of a verified order block, look for higher prices the next day. Or if it can close below 50% of this range, look for lower prices the next day, meaning that it's most likely going to take the low. previous candle's low. Okay. So let's get back to the structure. And that little drawing that I did earlier with the yellow and turquoise line, make sure you rewind that, man. Make sure you rewind and really take a look at what I said, because that is going to confuse people if they looking at the structure this way of looking at the breaking down the structure. Okay. So right now, either this is a market structure shift or it's a breaker structure. Most likely it's just a market structure shift. Okay. But let's keep going to the right. Okay. So this is how this works. I forgot to bring this part up. So price was bullish until it closed below here, right? So now you need to do this. Now we're going to clone this line. Okay. Now we're going to get the same line here. We're going to get this line. And we're going to get this line here and we're going to make it red. Okay. Now we're going to make this red and we're going to make it a lot smaller, because this could just be a market structure shift. Okay. So I'm going to make this line a lot smaller red. Well, because what I want to do is I want to bold the, so see, I'm still, this structure still could be bullish. You understand me? Hold on quick. The structure still could be bullish. This could just be a market structure shift, meaning that it's just going down temporarily to go up. But the breaker structure is official. Like, yo, we going down for a while now, you know? So what I want to do is, the structure is still bearish. It's still bearish until we can prove we can close above this high up here. That candle right there, that bullish candle. Okay. And so I'm going to put this dotted line here, because when this low was taken by this candle here, the highest up close candle is important, meaning the structure is still bearish, whether it's microstructure or major structure, whatever it ended up presenting to us. The structure is still bearish until we prove we can close above here. Okay. So we move into the right. Because look, it could be let me tell you why it could be a market structure shift. It could just be a market structure shift because this is a bullish order block. So price could just be returning. Look, it never returned. See, that's what I'm saying, man. People be talking shit about ICT. I'm like, man, y'all people crazy as hell. This dude really has saved people's lives out here. You know, even if people wasn't making money, he gave people hope that they will have a better day with this stuff. But anyway, look, this is a bullish order block, meaning that all of this right here, all of this price action came out of this one candle. You understand that? So now it could just be a market structure shift, because it's probably just returning to this bullish order block to get juice, to pick up orders, filling this inefficiency here just to take out these highs up here, this high. So let's keep on scrolling, because so basically the structure is still bearish unless it proves it can close above here. This is just on a 2-hour chart. Okay, so we're going to keep dragging it to the right. Now, if this low right here gets taken, well, let me show you something. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me make this yellow. Show you something else that you could do. Yellow. So this is basically on alert. We don't know what the structure, this microstructure that's moving right now. This is some stuff I kind of just came up with. So what I'm saying is we're going to put the yellow on. Hold on right quick. We're going to put the yellow on these candles here. I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so we had a low taken here. And remember, on the lower time frame, it would look even smoother. So we're trying to mark up the microstructure right now. So we got two microstructures in place right now. We got this one right here, meaning that price is bearish until it can prove it can close above here on 2-hour chart. But we also got this right here moving up, meaning that price is now bullish I'll make this a lighter green to show that it's on microstructure is bullish. So basically, on microstructure, price is bullish until you prove it can. I gotta flip this around. It's bullish unless it can prove it can close below that green line down there, the solid green line. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So that solid green line down there, this micro structure here, look like this just like a market structure shift. Price is bullish on microstructure until it prove it can close below here. Now remember, we still have this structure here. See, this is what I'm saying. People don't want to. We still got this structure right here. The structure is still bearish overall until we prove we can close above this line here. Okay, so you got to follow the structure. So we're gonna keep moving to the left. Now we're looking, if price takes this high, then I got to move this up here and move this bar back to this candle. This is what QB Stu, the trader, called body game. You got to know body game and wick game. I love when he said that. So remember, you got to follow the structure. So what do we have? We have price that was on a bullish trend. It came down here, either broke structure or it's a market structure shift. It's going to be revealed what it is. It looks more like a market structure shift. So we're bearish right now. Structure is still bearish. Doesn't mean if you holding a long and you're not sure, you need to go on the lower time frames. Like this looks kind of weird. So I would go on like the 45 minute or 30 minute to really see the structure. I'm not going to do all of that and bring up multiple screens, but you need to have at least 2 or 3 screens up. Okay. So what do we have? So this is the bearish prices right now is on a major structure with bearish movement. It's a bearish structure overall. On minor structure, we're bullish because we hit this order block here, but you have to look at the structure on its own. This high right here was taken. When this high was taken, the lowest down close candle became important, meaning that if price closes below it, either it's going to be a market structure shift or it's going to be a breaker structure. The price will let us know. So if this high is taken, then I have to move my lines. Okay. So this high right here was never taken. So inevitably, the structure is still bullish, even though we have price pushing down because this high was never taken. The last high that was taken was this one. So the lowest down close kind of becomes important, meaning that on microstructure, because we still bearish. See, this is what I'm saying. You got to understand this. We still in a bearish trend because price is not proving that it can close above this body high up here. It took this low. I wonder if this candle on another broker, if it's actually a bullish candle, but it took this low here. So now once this low was taken, this highest up close candle is important. Okay, so we still bullish on microstructure. Overall, we're bearish on major structure right now. Okay, so we got to follow the structure. Okay, so we're bullish right now. The structure is still bullish on microstructure. Okay, so let me get these out. Make this yellow. I hope this is not confusing, folks, but if people actually watch the video. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and make this yellow. Okay, so for this microstructure stuff. Hold on quick. Okay, so prices. Okay, so this is a bearish structure right now. On this microstructure here is bearish. So this yellow line right here, this microstructure is just on microstructure. I guess that's a word. Because remember, this is major structure here, and this is micro, and this is micro. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but like I said, this line right here is VWAP, but don't even actually, let me just delete that. Maybe confusing folks. So let's follow the structure. So overall, we're bearish until we can prove we can close above here. Price is overall bullish right now because this high was never taken. I mean, on the bodies it was, but we need the wick high to be taken. So it's still a bullish structure. You got to ask yourself, if it's going down, you got to ask yourself, well, okay, well, now we back. See, now this high was taken here. So let me take this, move this down here. So since this high was taken, now where price action is still bearish overall, unless we prove we can close below here on the 2-hour chart. Okay. So price is still bearish overall, unless we can prove we can close above here on the 2-hour chart. Okay. And these green lines here is microstructure. Okay. The microstructure. This is microstructure, and this is the major structure right now, because this is just, like I was thinking, this is just a market structure shift. This is not a breaker structure, but we have to let the price action show us. So right now, this microstructure is still bullish until it can prove it can close below here. So if you're in a buy, then you would just hold it. Uh-oh. Computer about to die. Damn. Plug it up. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, so once price closes above this candle, folks, okay, once it closed above here, we are no longer in a bearish trend. You understand that? We're still, so this is just a market structure shift. This that happened right here, that was just a market structure shift. So we're still bullish once this happened right here. Okay. So once this high was taken, the lowest down close candle. So that means that if price comes here, so we're still bullish. We're bullish overall now, and we're bullish on microstructure. So you got to have your major structure and microstructure lines. So that means that even if price comes down here and closes below here, that don't mean that the structure has changed. You see that? Now, once this high gets taken here, I'm going to put this line here down here. Okay. So now we have to follow the microstructure for bullish movement. Because this was bullish movement here, but it did close below here in the market structure shift. Okay. So now we're following the microstructure for bullish movement. When this happened right here, price proved that it's bullish again. So we should see a powerful move to take out this high. Okay. Well, right here. Now remember, see, that's what I'm saying. You gotta know the difference between a retraceable, price retracing, and price just reversing. This is retracement. Once this happened, this proved that price was bullish. Now you got to go on the higher time frame and make sure the 3-hour, 4-hour that it closed above here as well. We're really on the 3-hour, because on the 4-hour, this probably just be one candle. So now price closed below here. So that means that if the overall structure is still bullish, which this proved, then you got to ask yourself, what is it going down to? We got two swing lows here, liquidity, and we have a bullish order block here. The opening price hasn't even been hit yet. Only the wick high and barely consequent encroachment, which is 50% of that wick. So that's what I would say. I wouldn't think it would stop here, but it may want to just fill in this gap in reverse. But it looked like it may want to come down here and get into this candle that created all of this, which is this last down close candle. So, but we still going to follow the structure. So now it's bullish, it's bearish on microstructure again. So now we got to move these lines over. This is just following the structure on a higher time frame, meaning that price is bearish on microstructure. Because remember, when it closed above here, when it closed above this candle's high, now it's bullish. It's just retracing down only to go higher. That's what I see. So we got to move our lines over. This red line means that prices is now bearish All right, so we back on the structure. I had to fix something. So basically, what I'm saying is, when this happened right here, let me move this over here. This may be confusing, folks. Let me turn this a different color, maybe blue. So now this red line is basically showing the current structure that we're on. Okay. Remember, when it closed above here, the structure is bullish, so it just must be retracing. So you have to look at the lowest down closed candles, because mostly it's probably going to try to return there. This is a lowest down closed candle, but we also got one lower here. So price is just doing a return to origin is what I'm seeing that it probably may do. So we're on bear structure right now, micro, until it can prove it can close above here. Go to the next candle. So we see price came down here into this bullish mitigation block. It didn't even hit this. Well, it came into this order block here as well. Okay. Now here's the ICT propulsion block as well. He talks about when an order block closes into another order block. That's what this is right here. Okay, so you see this is hella bullish here, because when it came down here, it couldn't even, the wicks didn't even, nobody closed into the zone. This lowest down close candle, nobody closed into it. This is another little secret for people. If nobody closed into it, then it's hella bearish or hella bullish. Okay, it's a Cali word, hella. So let's follow the structure. The structure is still bearish. Okay, because it took this low right here. It's still bearish until it can prove it can close above this red line. Oh, but remember, overall, we're overall bullish. Overall bullish. Because price closed above this high right here. The body high, not the wick high. It closed above the body here. So when I saw this retracement, I think this is just a retracement. This is just a retracement to go higher, to take out this high, because we're bullish now. So you got to ask yourself, if it's breaking structure up, obviously it's coming up here. So it's going to beat this. It already came into this order block here, close, at 50, lower 30% of the wick. So let's continue to drag the candles to the right. Okay, so price is still bearish on microstructure, because remember, overall is bullish. Unless we could prove we can close above here. So this close is what? 73.16. And the other close is 73.15. Okay, so this one, so yeah, it couldn't close above it. This is 16 and this is 15, so it's one tick off. So the overall structure, microstructure, still bearish. Boom, right there. Now, once we close above here, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to understand this. So when you have the indicators on, you can understand where the order flow is. The order flow is up. The order flow been up, because when this right here was wasn't a breaker structure. This was just a market structure shift. This was just a shift, close below here, just to come down here to this order block to pick up orders, pick up some juice, fill in that gap, get some orders to go power, to get some enough power to take this out. This is what I'm thinking. So right here again, proved that we're bullish. So let me put an ellipse around those. Is that what this is? Ellipse. I think this is eclipse. Ellipse, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put this around these candles right here to show. Now, if you don't have nobody breaking down a structure like this, I don't even understand why you're watching them, because they have to understand how the structure works. If they got all the indicators and stuff on the chart, that's cool. But if they don't understand this, then, they false flag it. That's why I can talk the way I do, because I understand the structure. I took time to, and I'm proud of that, because it wasn't easy. That's why I can just let people talk and goof around or whatever. When it comes to my trading and stuff, I'm just like, well, I'm the person that's really the truth out here, person that never was going to stop. But anyway, so these two areas right here, let me put a green so it can symbolize that this proved that it wants to break up. But you have to ask yourself, where's it breaking up to? It's coming up here to take out this high. Okay. You take these off. This yellow, let me dim this yellow because this is pending. We don't know if the direction is going to be, this is right here is for if we don't know if the direction is going to be bullish or bearish or minor structure. We have to let the structure tell us. Blue. Okay. Let's keep going to the right. Remember, price is still bullish. So when we see these huge candles like this, you have to ask yourself, where is it going? You know, where is it going? We got structure below. We got a candle right here that the opening price fully hasn't been returned to. Price hit it going down, but it hasn't. It didn't come back to this one going down, but it did going up. Price came back to this one going up, but it hasn't returned going down. Well, it did here. So it may just return to this one here. So let's continue to go. But remember, the structure is bullish. The target is here. Now remember, price was bearish until price closed on the minor structure until it closed above here. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to get this back. So we're gonna put this back on here. This is minor structure, the lighter green. Let me make this even lighter, just to show the weakness of it. Just to show that this is minor structure, and the other one is major structure. Okay, so price is bullish until it can prove it can close below here on a 1 hour chart. Now, even if it does close below here, it may just be a market structure shift because we've already shown that we want to be bullish. So let's keep on moving the candles to the right. Okay. Now, when this high was taken, you got to keep moving it. When this high was taken, and those two ellipses right there, those green circles prove that we're bullish. So, because you want to hold the buy for a certain target. This is a swing high up there. Price is still bullish overall, but if we close below here, then there may be a market structure shift overall to go down to one of these lows of this bullish order block is what I'm guessing. Oh, boom, right there. So we held for our target. Do you understand? You seen that? We're following the structure. So if you're scared to buy as price is dropping or whatever, then this will help you hold the trades versus depending on the indicators. There's nothing wrong with the indicators, but I just think you need to understand the flow of the order flow as well. I mean, I do. It's just common sense just looking at it, right? So now check this out. This high was taken right here. Remember, these lines are still valid right here because when this happened, this wasn't a break of structure. This was a market structure shift. Because if it was a break of structure, then it just would have kept dropping, right? Once it did this, it just would have just kept dropping and dropping and dropping, making higher highs, higher lows and lower lows, and higher lows and lower lows. So now we got to move this line. This is the big green dotted line is the major structure. Okay. So now we got to put it down here because price is still bullish. Overall, we can have these little market structure shifts. But overall, price is still bullish unless it can prove it can come down here and close below on the 2 hour chart. See that? So let's follow the structure. So that don't mean that you can't make the money like going short, but it's just understand the overall order flow. Okay, so now we got to see this low right here was just taken. So now we have to move this again. This is minor structure. This is minor structure right here. So Price is still bearish. Price is bearish on microstructure. Because remember, the overall structure is bullish. Because when this high was taken, it has to prove it can close below here on the 2-hour chart. So you have to ask yourself, if this happened right here, hold on quick. Oh, yeah, this is minor structure here. Yeah, this is minor structure. This is lighter green. So when this happened here, price is still bullish overall, but we need to see price close below here. This is minor structure. This is protecting the bullish movement, but right now it's bearish on microstructure. So you have to ask yourself, well, where is it coming down to? He's going to come down here to this bullish order block. Okay, this is a bullish order block, or it may come down here. I would say, we don't have any gaps. I would say this is a gap right here, because the market look at wicks as gaps. So it's probably going to come down to here or here. So what we're looking at right now is, let's take a look at the structure again. Overall, it's bullish because price took this high. Okay, we're still in a bullish overall trend. So if you're holding a buy, this is how you manage the order. It's bearish unless it could prove it could close below here. So on minor structure, bullish minor structure, once this high was taken, this candle right here, once this high was taken, let me move it back to remember the lighter green is the minor structure. Once this high was taken here, then price is still bullish on micro and major structure until it can close below this low here. We see it close below the low. So now on microstructure, we're no longer bullish. It's bearish on microstructure. Okay. So when this happened here, you got to ask yourself, okay, well, where is it going? Usually it's going to return to the origin. Okay. You got to look at the lowest down closed candles. That little peak right there, that trough. You got to look at that, or look at this one. Okay. Or you can look here. This is a bullish mitigation block. Okay. So I'm going to shoot for price either coming here to 71.53 or coming down to 71.04. Because remember, it didn't break structure for nothing. It was on bullish microstructure. Closed below here, it did it for a reason. Okay, continue to go. So okay, so it looked like it may have stopped, because this is a long wick, so it may have stopped going down. What was that? Oh, it may have stopped going down, but the whole point is this is just a market structure shift. It's not a break of structure. Okay, because a break of structure, if it closes below here, okay, but this still could be a market structure shift. You just got to let it tell you what's going on. So if it stopped here and we see a big reversal up, then just know that when this happened, this is a market structure shift. It was coming down to come into this area here. This is a bullish on the 3-hour chart or 4-hour chart. This is a bullish order block because it's two candles. Let's continue to see what's going on. Well, what I'm seeing right now is that overall is bullish, but on microstructure is bearish, and now this is managing the bearish movement, meaning like this low here is still bearish until price can prove it can close above this yellow line. When this low is taken, you got to look at the highest up close candle. So it's still bearish. So it's bearish on microstructure, still bearish, nothing closed above here, but overall we're bullish on major structure. You see that? So that means that it's only coming down into one of these predetermined areas only to take out this high. Boom. Now this low was taken, so now we got to move this down. Okay, this is microstructure, bearish movement. Actually, I'm just going to leave this yellow. So now this candle right here becomes important. The structure is still bearish on microstructure unless, remember, we're overall bullish. So you have to ask yourself, what is it going down to? Like I said, I would say it's coming down here. Now we do have look at this. We got a gap right here we had price action going up. Let me mark this up. This gap right here. What I'm saying is, let me make this red. What I'm saying is we had this gap right here. Okay, some people call it, oh, what happened? Some people call it a supply gap. Really, the supply gap would be up here, but ICT would call this a fair value gap. What I'm trying to tell you is that you got to understand the rebalancing. It's ICT stuff, meaning that this thing created a gap, but we had price action going up, but we never had price action going down. So you have to, like, sometimes I'll write on something like this, like bearish price action do, because I know it has to go up, down, and then go back up, and then it's like rebalanced, right? Or if it just goes up and goes down, like that's how it works. So, this could be an area. Price could just come in here, fill it in, and then take off, because I believe the target is up here. Because remember, overall we're bullish. So if it's overall bullish, I mean, it's bullish for a reason. Like it wants to take out the high up there and bypass this whole bearish order block here, that white candle. Okay, so on minor structure, we're bearish. On major structure, we're bullish, because unless price can close below here on the 2-hour chart, we're still bullish. But we had a microstructure bullish movement here. When this high was taken, the lowest down close candle became important. It closed below it. So you got to say, okay, well, we're still bullish. We're just going down right now. You got to say, okay, going down to where though? Because you got to be looking for an area to buy. Okay. Based on what I'm seeing, I mean, it could come down into this bearish order block. We also got a gap right here that's open. You see that? We got a gap here that hasn't even been filled in all the way yet. Let me change this to turquoise. So we got a gap that hasn't been filled in yet. So let's continue to look at the structure. Remember, we're on microstructure and we're managing it. That's what the yellow lines are. Okay, it's bearish on microstructure. Okay. Continue to keep going down. All right, so price just filled in this gap. As far as a rebalance, it's the gap here. And then we got this gap that is coming down into. So it broke structure here. It did a market structure shift. It's shifting from bullish overall to shifting to bearish, but it's not a break of structure. It's just shifting down temporarily to go up. Then I guess that's where the whole Fibonacci thing can come into place at, putting on the low to the high. Do the whole 61.8 thing. $618. Do the whole 88.6. Usually that's the good stop loss. It's the area I came up with. Okay, here's another gem. And this is my own fib level, I believe. Some people use 78.6, but what I've really seen is when you put that fib on there and you put in 88.6, if price goes below it, most likely the trend is like bearish now, or it's going to break the fib. Well, not bearish, but it's going to break the fib, meaning that it probably could take out this low or wick below it. But it's not always true, but I've seen it to be. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with the structure. We're managing the structure. We got a Fibonacci on here. Let me take off the other levels. You got the 88.6 on here. Usually I've seen this level to to be an area where to be a level where if price touches it, then the trend is it's either going to take this low or continue to keep dropping. But it's not always true. You got to look at it for yourself. Come up with your own level. Okay, so we're still bearish unless we can prove we can close above here, a microstructure. Now remember, this is on a 2-hour chart. You should really be on a 15-minute, 30-minute looking at this because you could find an entry like price. The structure should still be bearish until we actually have a break a structure up, and then that would be our buy all the way up to take out this high because the structure is overall bullish. So you got to ask yourself, well, I mean, what is it trying to do here? It's trying to take out this high. Okay, so it wicked up above here, couldn't close above. Now we're going lower. It could just be coming into this order block to go higher, but we got to see. Let's move this line over. This yellow line is just the management of what the structure is already in. When we look up, the structure was bullish on microstructure. Now it's bearish on microstructure. Overall, it's bullish. Let me turn this to white because it's maybe confusing. Oops. It's just a Fibonacci. Let me turn this line to white too. Turn that pink line down there, make it white. All right, so we're still managing the order. Okay, so we're basically looking for an entry right now to take out this high because overall the structure is bullish. It proved it right here on those two ellipses. Okay, we got a fair value gap right here that price dug into, and right now we're still bearish on microstructure. If we get a break of structure, we can go ahead and get in for a buy. What is this right here? The close is 72.80. The close here is 72.81. So it's one tick below, so the structure is still bearish unless it proves it can close above here, and we get the close right after this candle here. So let me go ahead and so now the structure is bullish, proving that it's bullish on microstructure again. This is on microstructure. It just proved it here. So even if it retraces all the way down, you need to be looking for buys to take out this high again. Because it's not bullish for nothing. You got to be thinking like, whoa, like what is it? I mean, what's the point of it being bullish? Because remember, it's bullish overall, major structure. Unless it can prove it can close below here on the 2-hour chart. You have to ask yourself, like, what is it being bullish for? Is to take out these liquidity highs, there's money up there. And if you want to get out at a soft target, that's where the order blocks come in at. You can get out at the low, consequent encroachment, the opening price, mean threshold, or you can break this body up into standard deviations of 25%, 25%, 50%, 75, and 100. So right here, it proved that it's bullish on microstructure, but we still could have a retracement down before it goes up to take out this high. Okay, so what I want to do now is bring over the microstructure. Remember, the light green is microstructure. Yellow is just managing the order that we're in. So right now, the structure is bullish on microstructure until it can close below this low here. But overall, we're bullish, remember. That's what the big green lines. But this just showed us that we're bullish on microstructure. We want to be bullish on the trend is up on microstructure. So we continue. We just follow the order flow. Boom. Now, price closed below here. Price closed below here on microstructure. Okay, so now, hold on, we went down. Okay, we took out this high. Yeah, so look like price coming down into this bullish order block. Now we're going, it's showing that we just closed below this low here. Okay. Yeah. We just closed below this low. When this high was taken here, the lowest down close candle became important. It closed below. So if it continues to go higher, then you have to, once it's closed, you have to look down here and see why did it close. It may have wanted to return to this bullish order block. It didn't hit mean threshold, which is 50% of this body. Okay. Came down here, this bullish close candle. It hit it because it's just a market structure shift here. It's not a breaker structure. Because right here, it proved that it wanted to go higher. Okay. It proved that we're on a bullish microstructure, and the overall structure right now is bullish itself. Okay. But on the structure overall, as far as microstructure, is still bearish. No, I'm sorry, it's bullish on micro. It's bullish on microstructure. So it could get confusing sometimes, but you got to follow the structure. So when it closed below here, this was a market structure shift, and either it's going to come down here or to one of these order blocks, and it came down to mean threshold and looked like it's rejecting up. So it looked like it wants to go lower. So it's either going to take this rejection block or maybe trying to get down here to fill in this gap, the rest of this gap. But right here, the structure is now bearish again on microstructure. Overall, it's bullish. So it's coming down to either here or somewhere in this area, only to go higher to take this high out. So let me pull this down here. Let me pull this back here. This is the microstructure. So now price is bearish on microstructure. Overall bullish. When this low was taken here, when this low was taken right here, the highest up close candle was important. So we're looking for entries. So right now the structure is bearish on microstructure. So unless we close above this high, we're still bearish on microstructure. So you have to ask yourself, where's it going down to? It's money below here, and it's money below here. We got a bearish order block here. It's still overall bearish unless it can prove it can close below this line. Okay. I mean, it's overall bullish unless we can prove it can close below here. Okay. So now we're coming into this fair value gap here that was created by this bullish order block. So you have to mark up this stuff because you got to ask yourself, like, why is it going down? Like, it might just fill in this gap here and take off. But once this low was taken here, this is microstructure. Once this low was taken here, they've got to keep moving it down. So if price close above here or here, you're gonna get faked out thinking that we're bullish still. We're still bearish unless it can prove and close here. On microstructure, we're still bearish. But remember what happened here. This proved that the structure is still bullish on microstructure. We're just retracing down only to go higher. So now we're filling in this gap here. This is a fair value gap. So now it may actually take off higher. But we don't want to get in for a official buy until we see an actual breaker structure from this retracement going down. Like, this is cool, seeing price close above here and above here, but I really need to see it close above here so we can get in for a buy to take up this high, because overall the structure is bullish. Boom, right there. So what these ellipses are is just confirmations of the overall structure itself. The green overall is bullish because when this high was taken, the lowest down close candle was important. It did all this coming down here, doing all these. All right, so this is the last video. I didn't know it was going to be this long. I just want to show where we're currently at. So we came down here, did all these acrobatics like we're trying to go lower, but we keep getting hints from the market that is overall bullish. And these are little confirmations. Okay. Take this fib off. So once this low was taken here, the highest up close candle became important. It just closed above here. So now I would be in for a buy on low leverage because it's going to retrace, but it might just take off. But I doubt it because we got a bullish order block down here and the high was taken. So it may come back down into it only to go higher to reach for this and then this here. So I'm going to go ahead and make this red, meaning I'm about to get in on low leverage. And then I'm going to put 2 yellow where I would get in on a buy limit. See how we're waiting for the stop loss below this wick low. All right, so our target is the pink line. The target is this. Well, we're going to get out at 50% of this wick. It's going to be a quick scalp and the high up here. This is consequent encroachment, which is 50% of a wick. The market look at the wicks as gaps, according to ICT and its teachings. So this is the order I'm in right now because price could just take off. I don't want to do it. It is FOMO. I understand that's not good. But if it comes down here, I'm getting in again on a buy and then again on a buy. Stop loss below the wick. Okay, boom. So, oh, it's supposed to be green. Sorry. This is a buy. So we're in 2 buys right now. Okay. This buy, this was hit right here. So we're going to delete this. This is 50%. This is not a random area. It's 50% of the wick. So we might see a rejection right here. Rejection down. But overall, the structure is bullish. So if we see a retracement down, it's just retracing to go higher. But I am in on my entry. And I really want to hold for this swing high up there. Okay. So let's take a look at this. I know this may look a little confusing, but like I said, the structure is bullish here. It closed above here. The red line is the structure was on microstructure. It was on bearish microstructure. Then it proved it wanted to go higher here. Okay. Once that happened, we're going to pull out the microstructure, bullish microstructure management. Okay. That's what this is here. Once this high was taken, then price has to prove it can close below this candle on a 2-hour chart, or still bullish. Okay. When this high was taken here, with this candle here, it couldn't close below it. This close is 72.54. This close is 72.55. That's 1 tick above this close here. So that's why I'm saying you have to look at the bodies, because looking at the wicks, this would have told you the structure is still bullish. So the buy that I'm in, I'm still holding it up to the swing high up here, and really need to be holding it for all the way up here. But I'm gonna get out here. Okay. Now as price is dropping, what I need to be doing is buying this price is dropping because I know it has to come up here. Why? How do I know that? Because overall the structure is bullish. Delete these lines right here. Overall, it's bullish, and I just explained that. Price is still bullish unless it can prove it can close below this line here on a 2-hour chart. Once this high was taken, the lowest down close candle became important. Okay, so now let's manage this order on microstructure. I'm still in on a buy right now. Okay, now the next candle could have closed below this right here, but you have to be willing to, you have to understand what happened first. What ICT talk about, what happened first. Well, it closed above here. So we're bullish. So even if we do see a retracement down, either you can hold the buy and just incur the drawdown, or if you don't put on too much leverage, when it's dropping, you can manage the structure on microstructure until we get a break a structure up and hold the buy. For the target is up here. I can't go too far to the right because I'm doing some back tests. I got to go up to the January 22nd. So these green lines here is microstructure, bullish microstructure. So we're in the bullish. Overall, we're bullish, but now we're on microstructure. We're bullish. So we're managing the order flow on the microstructure. It proved that I want to go higher here. So once this high is taken, then this lowest down close candle is going to become important. So see how we're pushing up? Boom. Now my target was hit. The swing high up here. You see I was able to hold it. Stop loss was down here. The orange line I just deleted was all the way down here. So if we continue to keep going to the right, remember when price is attacking this bullish order block, the highest up close candle, the wick, 50% in the opening price becomes important. Also, 50% of this body is important. Or you could break it up into standard deviations, 25%, 50%, 75%. I'll be trying to get out at 25%, 50, or 75 because it may want to retrace before it takes out that high officially. It's not just going to shoot up there all the time. So this pink line is my TP, my take profit, was a swing high up here. So managing the order flow again, price is bullish on major structure. Let me delete this. And on microstructure is still bullish. Okay. Move these lines here. This is my microstructure for bearish movement, the red. Like I said, you have to ask yourself, why is it bullish overall? It's only bullish to take out the money that hasn't been hit yet. It's a stop loss. It's above this high up here. So people are taught to put the stop loss there. So it's bullish overall because this high was taken. Lowest down close candle becomes important. Price comes all the way down. Can't even close below it or touch it. Then it breaks structure right here by closing above here. When it took this low right here with this candle here, this highest up close candle became important. I'm sorry, this one here. Hold on, is that right? Yeah, that's right. When this low was taken, this is the highest up close candle before this low was taken. So, yeah, because price created a high, closed, opened here, went down, then went up, closed. Yeah, so that's correct. So right here, when we closed above here, that was saying, hey, we want to go higher. We want to take this high out. But before we take this high out, this is the narrative. We want to take this high out first. So we managing the order on microstructure, came up here, took out this high. Okay. Once this high was taken, this lowest down close candle became important. Now we got to move this over here because then this high right here was taken as well. So once these highs were taken, this lowest down close candle is important. So the structure is still bullish on microstructure until we get a microstructure shift because overall we're still bullish to take out this high. This high was taken here. Was just following the structure. This is how you're going to be able to hold the buys, but you got to be willing to give some of it back to the market if you're going to do it this way. Or, you know, this is just managing the structure. Like, I understand it. Hey, zoom in. When this high was taken here, the structure is still bullish on microstructure. So you can hold these buys until it can close below here on a 2 hour. Overall, though, I just showed the candles. Overall, though, it's still bullish on major structure, which is these bold, powerful lines you see. Okay. Okay, so we've seen price close below here. We're still on microstructure. Maybe I need to label this microstructure.